Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Cherry Blossom Studios. I'm David-Dorian Ross, and this is day number 9 of 100 Days of Tai Chi. In this video lesson today, I've got a brand new transition to teach you, and we got a really great question of the day from one of the viewers. So stick around, because all that's coming up right after this. Hey, if you're a regular YouTube watcher, you might have noticed that I often ask people to subscribe at the beginning of the video instead of at the end, like most of the other YouTube creators do. And I'll tell you why I do that. It's really because a lot of times I get really caught up in the lesson and I forget to say things like please subscribe and all that kind of stuff. So I do it at the beginning. So right now, if you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button, would you please? If you've been watching the series and you enjoy it, or maybe this is your first time, I'd love to have you come back and watch the rest of the videos. And I'm always making other videos besides this series. So hit the little bell next to the subscribe and that'll notify you whenever there's a new video that I put up. Thank you for doing that. Okay, now I got that out of the way and I won't forget. Well, listen, today in today's lesson, what I've got is another brush knee in a twisted step movement. We've already done 2, actually. We did one, and then we did a new movement called Play the Peapot, and then we went back and did another brush knee in a twisted step. And this is literally called brush knee and twisted step right, because the right hand is pushing. But this first one is part of a series of 3 steps. It's going to go right, left, right again. So to get from the first brush knee into the second one, there's a new transition. And so we're going to do that today. But first, let me demonstrate the series for you, and then we'll break it down together, all right? So we're finishing up from yesterday in the brush knee and twist step position here. One more time from the other side. Again, it just looks like I'm going back and forth, but this is where you would end up if you were following me from the beginning, from the open the door position. And for a moment, you're going to be turning away from me if you're following me, but don't worry, you'll catch up. Here we are at the end of the first brush knee. One step to take us through. Now, I'm going to actually put it into motion. I want to give you a sense of the continuity of this. So I'm going to go all the way back to the Play the Peapot position. So from Play the Peapot, here's the first 2 steps. All right, so they're continuous, and that's the point. So let's talk about how we get that continuous motion. Well, there is a new kind of transition in there that changes the foot position so that you can step into a new bow step and be right in the perfect position. Now, I'm going to do something a little bit different than I've done in the previous videos. I've been getting several requests from you guys, the viewers, about demonstrating in a mirrored position. So this is actually my right foot, but if you're looking at it, it might look like the left foot. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate the transition. In the bow step here, 60% of my weight is centered over this front foot, while 40% of the weight is over the back foot. In order to make any kind of change, therefore, I'm going to have to take some weight out of this foot in order to make the step. This is called emptying. So I have to empty this foot out. Now, some of you may have been doing some other Tai Chi, like the Yang Style 24, for example, in which there is a dramatic shifting, emptying, before a transition. In traditional Yang Style, like the 103, however, there's no dramatic shifting back and forth. There is simply unweighting enough so that this foot can pivot. Right? So, here's what you're going to do. You're going to pretend like this foot just got weightless. The body turns to the left, and as it does so, that foot will rotate out 45 degrees only. From there, got to stay in camera here, the right foot is going to step forward, and then the center of gravity shifts forward into a lunge, and the hips square off to make a twisted step. Again, this is what it would look like. From here, I'm going to turn the waist as I shift that foot over, step onto the left foot, the right foot steps down, shift the center of gravity forward into a lunge position, the bow step. Got it? All right, file that away. We'll come back to it. Now remember, from play the peepot rather, what the hands do is arc to the side. The close-in hand here, the right hand, arcs to the side, reaching straight out to the side here, while the other hand, the right hand in this case, folds across the chest. Then the step comes, and as the step comes, the long arm folds in. The short arm skims across over the top of the knee and pulls back. While at the same time, this hand is pushing. All right, so we know that. We did that yesterday. Today, however, we're doing the same thing, but we're going to the other side here. So as I make that shift in my left foot and start to step up, the left hand arcs out to the side. The right hand folds across the chest. I step out and drop the left elbow. The left elbow just drops down in here. Right hand skims over the top of the knee and push. Try from the other direction here. Right? As I empty that foot and pivot, waist turning to left, the hands reach out to the side. Step out as this hand folds in, skim across the knee in a twisted step. All right. It gets much easier as you practice. In fact, that's the only secret. It's like the old joke, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. All right. Here's the question of the day. This comes from a viewer named Kath Soulsby. Kath, thank you so much for this question. Kath asks, where do the eyes look? Like, do they look at the target, or do they look at the hands, or what? Well, the answer is they do both, and it depends on where in the movement you're asking, because part of the time the eyes are looking at the target, and another part of the time the eyes are looking at the hands. Specifically, when you are doing the technique, when I'm doing the brushing the knee or hugging the knee and a pushing and twisting, I'm looking at the target. But part of what we're learning so far is not the technique, it's the transition between the techniques. And during the transitions, the eyes follow the moving hands. Specifically, the eyes track with what we call the predominantly moving hand. And you might ask, well, what does that mean? And that means whichever hand is on top versus being lower, or in front versus being closer to the body. That's the predominantly moving hand. And guess what? Of course, they are changing sometimes. So the eyes are following first one, and then as the other one becomes higher and farther, it changes to watch that hand. Then when I'm in the ready position, I've got everything set up and lined up and ready to throw that technique, my eyes now look to the target and stay focused on the target until the next transition. Anyway, Kath, that's a great question because a lot of people get confused. I don't know where to look or when to look. So that hopefully is a quick answer for you, and we'll remind you a little bit later on. Okay, let's see. What have we done here today? I've got you the new movement, the new transition. Great question from Kath Soulsby. By the way, keep making those questions and requests. I've already got another one scheduled for tomorrow, another awesome question, this time actually about the knees. So if you're interested in how to protect your knees, come back tomorrow for tomorrow's question of the day. But I'm still looking for some more questions of the day for Thursday, Friday. So leave a question in the comments below. We've talked about subscribing. What else? You know, I'm doing a lot of stuff over on my website, taijifit.net. There are free classes to take. There are long-form classes to take. There's an academy going on. where you could sign up for a free session with me. We call them guidance sessions, and it's just kind of a way of helping you get started giving back to the world you live in. You know, it's never too late to do that. Anyway, that's all kinds of things that you can do. Or you can wait till tomorrow and have another time together, another lesson. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. Until I see you next time, be well, be wise, and be wonderful. Thanks. See you tomorrow.